Honestly, I didn't think we needed this. Gears felt done, but after playing the Gears Reload beta, I might have been wrong. Look, it's fast, it's smooth, and it's fun. But is this what the Gears series really needs? Let's dive into it. First off, we need to talk about the gameplay and how that feels, and I must say, this is damn near the same as what it felt like when Gears of War dropped on the Xbox 360 in 2006, which is 19 years ago, which is just absolutely insane. Like, yes, this may not be as smooth as Gears of War 5, but that's not ultimately why I think this game exists. But more on that later. You boot it up, and bam, I'm right back in 2006. Warzone, Raven Down, 19 rounds. Life was just simpler, wasn't it? The Nashor's still got that inconsistent feel. Sometimes it feels fantastic, sometimes it feels rubbish. But yet, strangely, I think that's why we all love it. Or certainly did when this first came out. Given the graphics, a little bit of a spruce up from the Ultimate Edition, which came out in 2015. So we now have 4K 60 FPS in campaign, which, as someone who thinks that the first one in particular is a masterpiece, I cannot wait to go and see what this looks like with these new and updated visuals. The moment-to-moment gameplay feels as intense as it did at any other point in the series, and your use of cover here is absolutely vital to be successful. I do wonder if between now and the release date, which I believe is August 26th, if the Coalition will make any changes around the gameplay, if we're going to lean more into Gears 1 Ultimate Edition, if we lean towards Gears 5, somewhere in the middle with 2 and 3. But I'm unsure personally where I sit on these issues. So let me know in the comments, do you guys want to see this just more like the original Gears of War 1, or do you want them to sprinkle in some extra smoothness just to bring it a little bit closer to the modern day? Being able to play this online at 120 FPS is going to be an insanely satisfying experience when this launches. And during the beta, I know for myself, I switched between 60 FPS and 120 FPS, between console and PC, and tweaked some things around. And while 60 felt good, 120 felt fantastic. And I really do think players are going to enjoy this. Cross-play and cross-progression between Xbox, PS5, and PC isn't just convenient, this is kind of revolutionary, I think, for the Gears of War franchise. This means that there is no more, oh, what platform are you on, or oh, I can't play co-op with you, my save's on Xbox, you're on PC. This is just go and grab your mates and just get stuck in. Like, I know, for example, I have discovered this recently when I was playing Starfield and then the Oblivion remaster, having the cross saves between platforms, knowing that I could sit on the couch or sit at this desk and pick up right where I left off, was just so handy. And I really do think these are the kind of features that, whilst we've had them for a few years in some games, always set them apart and always just feel just sensible. So happy that this is in this one. When Gears of War originally came out, you had to use the server browser to find a rank match. So it had the positive of the player could choose between the mode that they wanted to play, the map, and the rounds, number of rounds that you had needed to win a match. So it meant that you could sort of fit it into your time schedule, which was always nice. But you were at mercy of the host's connection for how your multiplayer experience was going to go, and if you weren't a host, you didn't get that host shotgun that I'm sure anyone who played back then can remember was a bit of a killer. Which, just to note that the Ultimate Edition also did have dedicated servers, the same as Gears of War Reloaded did, but the original obviously did. So, do we need Gears of War Reloaded? Maybe not, but Xbox and the Coalition clearly think that we need to remember Gears exists, and especially with E-Day coming, let's be honest, a decade-old remaster probably wasn't going to cut the mustard here. Opening up the franchise to new audiences, in my eyes, can only be seen as a good thing, and I cannot wait to see, to read, to watch what PlayStation players are doing with this and how they react to it. As I said earlier, the campaign in this is one of my favourite bits of storytelling, and I hope that this then leads to a remaster of 2 and 3 so that they can further complement the story that they're telling here. But the online has always been something special in my eyes. Like, whilst I was never great at this game, I could hold my own, and I played countless hours of this. So I hope that PlayStation players who aren't familiar with this, or anyone indeed from Xbox or PC who's new, can grab some friends and make some special memories like I did way, way, way back in the day. I think the Gears community is a little split on this remaster, and if it should exist or not. Should efforts have all went into E-Day to make it come out quicker or a little bit better polish when it comes out. But to be brutally honest, Gears 5 does not have the player base that I think Xbox want ahead of new releases. So if you want Gears as a franchise to do well, I think combining a new prequel next year with a remaster of Gears 1 is a really, really good way of achieving that. I think this might result in a level of resurgence in the franchise that can hopefully leave it in good stead. You can argue about what they should have done with this, like should they have improved upon the UI that came out from the Ultimate Edition, should they went all the way back to the gritty menus that you had in the original Gears 1, do you do something entirely different? I think there's pros and cons to all of them, and I think with big fan bases you're going to get split opinions, but ultimately I think we can all agree in some way, if you're being sensible about it, that this needs to exist in order to bring it back into the public consciousness. Like, the question, I think, isn't necessarily if Reloaded is good, it's whether it's just the right way to ignite the franchise that some people have. And ultimately, though, I do think it might be the right way to go. So based on that, what does Gears Reloaded actually tell us about the future of the Gears of War franchise? To me, one thing's clear, that the Xbox and the Coalition are not done with Gears. You don't go and greenlight a remaster, you don't greenlight a brand new prequel unless you're trying to build a bit of momentum towards something. Like, this isn't fan service, this is a signal that they want Gears back in the conversation. They want to bring PlayStation players into the mold, and what better way to do it than to go back to the OG. Reloaded, for me, will then set the stage. You know, it reintroduces the world, it reintroduces the tone. That third-person cover shooter gameplay is going to then go out into a wider audience, and then hopefully gives Xbox a bit of time just to finish E-Day, and then maybe let them kick on a bit to whatever it is that's coming next. Because I think we all know Gears 5 left a little bit of a weird taste in the mouth, and the storytelling was a bit strange. You know, no spoilers here, but if you know what I mean. So maybe this will then help them between both the remaster here, a little bit slower gameplay, E-Day when it comes out next year, gives them a little bit of an idea of what the fan base want, to then figure out, do we do this in Gears 6 or do we have some sort of soft reboot somewhere along the timeline? It probably gives them a bit more data to go and make a good decision, or at least that's what I would like to see. You know, if Reloaded builds a bit of momentum and then E-Day creates a bit of buzz, the sky's the limit for the Gears of War franchise and it's back on the map. And hey, if it doesn't work, at least we can't say they didn't try. Look, I came into this skeptical, as you've seen, but Gears Reloaded actually delivers. It's fast and it's fun, and it feels like a proper experience of Gears of War. Whether it's enough to bring the whole franchise back remains to be seen, but you know what? I am in. Have you played Gears Reloaded on the beta weekend that was just there? Are you planning on playing in the beta weekend that's out in just a few days? Let us know down in the comments what you guys thought, and if you guys are as excited for this franchise as I am. And I know that we have a little bit of a joke at this channel about the remake Station 5, and whilst it has plenty of remakes, but let us know if there's any other games that you think deserve a remake in 2025, and maybe we'll have a chat about it. And as always, happy gaming.